There's a new episode of X-Men 97 called Weapon X, Lies, and DVDs, and it features Wolverine, which means
I'm back, baby.
So this episode follows Wolverine, Morph, and Wolverine's former hit squad, Team X, as they travel back to the facility that created them to face a new threat. Right off the bat, this is going to have spoilers. I love this episode, and I've got so much to talk about. I am so happy to see another Wolverine episode. I watched the original animated series, seasons 1 through 5, before watching 97, and one thing that I loved about that original series is that it wasn't solely Wolverine focused in the team episodes, but every season there were like 1 to 2 episodes that would just focus on Wolverine and his odd side quests that he would go on. And I was really happy to see that back, especially because this Wolverine from the animated series, Cal Dodd's Wolverine, is my favorite on-screen Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is great. Everyone knows that, but one thing that those Fox movies, I think, lacked and kind of missed about the character is that Wolverine is not your traditional heroic, handsome, leading man. That's Cyclops.
Come on, they're gonna kill him!
Good.
What?
And that's why it made more sense for Jean to be with Cyclops rather than this random guy who shows up that is Wolverine. Wolverine is supposed to be kind of off-putting. He is a short, stinky, hairy weirdo who is incredibly competent at killing people. He's supposed to be kind of weird. He has a good heart, and he has really strong emotions that he has a hard time handling sometimes, but he is by no means the traditional heroic character that we would see in characters like Cyclops or Spider-Man or something like that. So I love how this version of Wolverine is a little weirdo, and he'll always be my favorite. Starting off from the very first shot, we get the Team X lineup here, and we get Lady Deathstrike, we get Maverick, we get Kane, and we have Sabretooth, and Morph is now accompanying them. Right off the bat, I don't know why Kane is here. I haven't read all of Wolverine, but I've read like a very decent chunk of Wolverine, and I feel like Kane has never been like one of the big characters you would think of. So it made sense that, and again, spoiler alert, I'm going into spoilers, that he dies in like the first 5 minutes. They clearly just wanted somebody to kill off. The only other person I would really want on this lineup is Deadpool. They have like teased us twice now. In the original series, we saw Deadpool, but it was just on like a tape. And then in this trailer for the season 2 of 97, we got a picture of Deadpool, and everyone's like, oh, Deadpool's going to be back. And it turns out to just be Morph. But I wish that Deadpool would have been here. I think it would have been a lot of fun. The last 2 things I really have to say about the lineup is Maverick's accent kept throwing me off. Whenever I read Maverick in the comics, I don't picture him having that accent, and so that was throwing me off. Also shocking that they kill him, considering he is pretty prominent in Wolverine comics. And the other thing that I'll say that I just found funny is Lady Deathstrike has her t-shirt again here. A little behind the scenes story of the original Lady Deathstrike episode they did in the 90s was that the creators outsourced the animation to a new company, and the new company went really crazy with Lady Deathstrike's design and gave her like a ton of cleavage and stuff. So when they sent it back to be put out on TV, the creators stopped and were like, what are you doing? We can't show this to kids. And so they sent it back to the animators and forced them to give her like this white t-shirt. And I just always think that's a really funny story, and she's back with the white t-shirt again. Shortly into the episode, the plane that they are all riding in gets attacked. They get stranded in the forest, and they see a white creature. And immediately I was thinking, Wendigo, this is the Wendigo. It wasn't, it just ended up being a bear. But that does point out to me, I don't think we've seen the Wendigo in this series. I'm trying to think back to the original series, and I don't think there was the Wendigo there either. Which is odd, because like it's a pretty prominent Wolverine fixture in his comics. And so I thought it was a Wendigo. I was wrong. It was just a bear. The title of this episode is really funny because this episode was titled Weapon X Lies in DVDs. And the episode in, I think it was season 4 or 5 of the original series, was titled Weapon X Lies in VHSs. And so clearly we knew that it was going to be kind of similar to that episode. And one big similarity is that in both episodes, Wolverine and a bunch of people from Team X go back to the facility, except for in the original episode, they're accompanied by Beast, and Beast is like the audience stand-in. And this time it's Morph, and Morph is the audience stand-in, which I liked. I think it made sense given how close he and Wolverine are. That being said, there were some things that I did not agree with Morph when he wanted to stop them from killing who they thought to be Dr. Cornelius. I was like, hold on, Morph. Do you know what this man has done to people, literally torturing them? But it ended up not being the Doctor anyways. I have no clue how Morph's powers work. I've tried to figure out. I don't know. I don't think anyone else knows. But when he turned into Puck, I got so excited because at first I thought it was Puck. And then it ended up just being Morph. But still cool to get a Puck cameo. I'm hoping that we'll see more of him in future episodes. Also, cool to get an episode with the Brood. The Brood is easily one of the X-Men's most terrifying villains that we haven't really seen in many adaptations. So this was really cool. Freaky as hell. Logan makes a comment to Lady Deathstrike saying that this isn't the first time that they have dealt with aliens, and that's a callback to the original episodes with Lady Deathstrike where she was working with an alien and then the alien turned on her and Wolverine had to fight with her to defeat the alien. Also, Sabretooth makes a comment that he's been alive for at least 200 years. And given that Wolverine and Sabretooth have a close history together, that makes me realize Wolverine is also over 200 years old. So this Wolverine in the animated series is very old. And then we get to my favorite part, and that's where Morph is looking through the other DVDs of the experiments, and we see so many names. We see the Winter Soldier, various other names, but we also see X-23. And oh, as a Laura Kinney fan, I am so excited. That means that she exists in this universe, which is interesting because in the comics, she doesn't pop up until like the 2000s, and this is still supposed to be the late 90s, but that makes me really excited. I really hope we get Laura popping up in the next season of X-Men 97, especially if they're going to go the Grant Morrison route and actually turn it into a big school, because that makes sense because that's where she normally does pop up, in the comics at least. And so X-23 is out there. She exists in this world. She just needs to break out and find Logan now. When we first see Wolverine infected by the Brood, super cool homage to X-Men issue 234, the cover of that. He was super terrifying, by the way. When I was watching this, I kind of like, you know, like when you're watching a scary movie and you like put your feet under the covers? That's what I did because, oh man, he was terrifying when he was infected. Omega Red versus Wolverine was awesome. My only issue is I wish that there was more of it. I wanted to see a proper, like, long Wolverine versus Omega Red fight. He has popped up before in the animated series, but in 97, the animation's just so much better. I want to see more of that. Additionally, I can't take Omega Red as seriously anymore after watching the Lego Avengers special where he was just like obsessed with Wolverine in it.
You did the right thing by saving them. And you made a new friend.
Yahoo! Wolvie!
But he's still really cool here. And then finally, I'll just say, I'm glad that Wolverine got his adamantium back. I had a feeling he'd get it back in this season. But I'm shocked that this is the way it happens. I thought that he was going to make a deal with Apocalypse or something, or serve as a horseman of Apocalypse and get his adamantium back that way, because that's how it happens in the comics. And he fights Sabretooth basically to prove himself worthy to get the adamantium back. And so that's where I thought this was leading to. But it clearly didn't. They did it another way. And I like that. I actually really love it when adaptations use the comics and the source material as inspiration, but they don't do direct adaptations, because I've already read that. And if I haven't read it, I can go read it. I want to see something new, a new twist on these characters. And so I liked that this is how he got his adamantium back. I don't know, Morph. I think you gotta move on. I don't think that the feelings are mutual, I will say. Or if they are, that you are being treated very well in that friendship or relationship or whatever it is. I saw this meme where somebody took that picture of Lady Deathstrike looking at Morph and being like, I'm going to send this to somebody when they need to move on. And I don't know, I agree with that. Morph, you deserve better. But also, you kind of volunteered to go on this trip anyways. Overall, I'm giving this episode 5 out of 6 Snicks. Loved it. Love a good Wolverine episode, you know me. And so, yeah, this season continues to be incredible. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.